Hey guys, Cody with World of Many Warcrafts, and today I was hanging out with my buddy Daka Joe and trying to think of cool things we can do to make our models a little different from everybody else's models on the field, or even other models that we already have. Me, I already have a monolith that I've already fully painted, and it's just standard. So I was thinking for the second monolith I'm going to build and paint. I want to do something a little bit different, make it kind of unique, kind of cool. All the other Skimmer models come with the small clear bases that they sit on top of to make it look like they're floating or like they're skimming, and monoliths do not. And it's kind of a shame. All the pictures in the codex and everything, you always see the monolith flying above all of the warriors and everything. So with that in mind and that image, I thought we have to figure out a way to do this. I need to figure out a way to make a stand for my monoliths, but they're flying. And I don't want to obviously put it on the stand permanently because it needs to be portable still. Monoliths are hard enough to take around as is, so I don't want something that's permanent. So we're looking around different options and came up with a pretty good idea. Let's see what you guys think. So start off for the main base platform, a CD, a regular old CD. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prime it black with just either cheap regular black primer that you get at hardware store, or you can use your Citadel black primer if you want to cover it up. Now I just spray painted one side, just the side that I'm actually going to be doing stuff on. I left the CD side like this because it's going to be flat down on the table anyway. Dice come in these clear plastic cases. So if we glue this plastic square to the CD like so, right? And base the CD to match the army. Block or rocks or textured paint, however you normally base your army, base it to match. Snow, whatever. Then you take the lid and you glue it on the bottom of your monolith. So if you have this glued on to the bottom of your monolith in the center, doesn't matter which way, it won't actually cause the monolith to sit any differently than it normally would. You could put it on the battlefield and no one would even know that you have this glued on the bottom. You can still take your monolith in your case like normal. It's not going to obstruct it in any way. But then you take the monolith with this glued on the bottom, you sit it down on top of that, and now it's going to be floating. So I'm going to walk you through it real quick and we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Alright, so we have the CD painted black, and we glued the plastic clear square, the dice case, down to the CD. And I put a little bit of XV88 in a square with a brush around the outside, just in case rocks don't get quite in those crevices. You want to cover up some of that black, but even black on the bottom will just make natural shading anyway. So now we just start with the glue to cover the entire base. I like using super glue because it gives me a nice thick strong hold for all my rocks and everything that I put on my bases. We're just going to get right into it. Here we have the base completed with the rocks on. So we shook off all the excess and this is what we're left with. Now I'm going to go into shading. So this is exactly how I do all the models in my Necron army. I use the same glue, the same rocks, the same shade, so that they all match. So that's why I'm doing mine this way. However, if your army uses flock or any kind of other basing material, or if you leave the bases black, whatever it is that you have or what you do, obviously you'd want to make this match. Here's an example of what the bases in my model, the things that I already have painted, look like, so you get an idea of what I'm going for. Again, if yours is painted or flocked or however you do the bases in your army, you want to make it match, but this is the effect that I go for in all my models. You see, here's an objective I've made, some scarabs, a warrior, and that's the base to my doom scythe that they're all sitting on top of, and they all have that lighter brown look. If you look at it compared to the rocks we have on the CD that are shaded with the null oil, it's obviously a brighter color, and that's because the XV88. So that's what we're going to do next. And with the XV88, I just get a heavy load on the brush pretty thick, and just lay it all over. The super glue gives a really thick texture with the rocks, keeps them nice and clumped together, so I get lots of shadow from the null oil, get a really cool effect. Next part for me is to tape off the base that I've already painted and actually spray the clear plastic Mephiston red. This is because throughout my army, all of my flyers, as you can see here with my Doom Scythe, I've sprayed the clear parts with the Mephiston red and done the electrical effect throughout. So I plan on doing that with this as well. However, for yourself, for your army, you might want to leave it clear plastic or maybe paint it a suitable color. So I just start with drawing on my outline with Mephiston red. It's basically just Mephiston on top of Mephiston, but you'll be able to see the outline. It just darkens up those spots a little bit more. Then I take Wild Rider red, which is essentially an orange color, and I just lay that inside the lines that I did with the Mephiston red. And this electrical effect I do on all my warriors' weapons and things like that too. So this is a constant theme for me. Next I lay in Hero Yellow just inside of the Wild Rider red. And the final step after this is going to be taking Pallid Witch Flesh white and filling in the corners, just parts where it splits off, because those are energy points, so you want to make it look like it's really hot. So here you see my my monolith that I've fully painted in my color scheme for my army, and the base that I just made. And as you can see, the monolith sits perfectly flat with the lid glued onto the bottom. And here it is. This is the final outcome. By following all the steps, painting it in your scheme, you can get something to match similarly. This is what it turned out for my army. I actually made a second one as well, where I glued bits on the bottom, you know, dead space marines and whatnot, and you can get all kinds of cool things. So there's my flying monolith. Thanks for watching.